Hello, I'm Steph from IDRIVEACLASSIC and we're back for the second Marina video. And my goodness, to quickly recap where we were in the last video, which was rather doom and gloom, you and I came together, didn't we? So the video started, well, not on a high because we were broken down on a lay-by.
Yeah, all right.
It was, no, but I was a lot more optimistic than I perhaps was by the end of the video. And we kind of said that we needed a bit of a plan. And we decided the first thing we were going to do was repair this front wing. Now, this is a quick reminder that if you are coming to the NEC Classic Motor Show in November 2023, you will be able to see this car on display on the YouTuber stand. So do come down and visit us. And you're going to make a guest appearance one day, aren't you?
Yes, possibly.
You are.
And get a free ticket.
Yeah, I've sorted you.
I'm coming.
I will make sure you get a free ticket for all the help that you give me. And so in today's video, we're going to show people how to repair this front wing section. Now, you might be sitting at home wondering if you've ever looked at marinas. This seems to happen quite a lot. And I was asking you why that was, because it's happened to me and it's happened to my best friend Joe. And you told me, and you pointed out quite rightly, that there's almost a little shelf inside here. And what happens is that dirt travels up and it sits on that shelf and then rots it out from the inside. And the first thing you know about it is when you start seeing
A few little
trouble
bubbles
on the outside. And it was bubbling when I bought it, but I had no idea about that being a problem. And I just skipped on my merry way with it. But today we're going to start putting this right. So Kev, talk us through and step by step it what we're going to do today.
Well, the first thing years and years ago, when I was a lad, you could get the wings for these for about £7.50, which obviously is a blooming long time ago. And I've changed loads of Marina wings because I was welding these things up years and years ago because they were just bangers. So anyway, we can't get wings now, or if we can, they're an absolute fortune. So it's a complete and utter no-no. But the rest of the wing, hello?
Knocking, like, help!
It's quite solid. So what we're going to do is grind all this off, and we're going to make some new metal. It's quite an easy shape to make, so it won't be too difficult. But we're going to cut all the rust out, clean it all up, and then we're going to put some little patches from underneath it, and then butt weld it all into place. And then obviously we just have to put a little tiny bit of filler on the top just to get the shape right. But that's the initial plan to start with, because the rest of it's not too bad. So that's
the worst.
There's a little bit here that I'm not going to push that too hard because it's going to go through. It's going to go through anyway. So we end up putting a patch in there. Yeah. So we're going to essentially repair the wing because that's all we can do, as new ones are not available for £7.50 anymore, unfortunately.
And then something just to add in the video is you've done your arm in, haven't you?
I've done my shoulder in. I've damaged my rotator cuff, which is not something I recommend. It's 3 months still and it's still not right, which is rather frustrating because I can't quite bend my arm and all the other good things that I used to do.
So a lot of this, whereas usually you might have done it and shown me how to do it, I'm going to be doing stuff and you're going to be verbally telling me how to do it. But you know what? Maybe that'll be the best way for me to learn.
Well,
or
possibly.
The best way to muck the car up, but
well,
it's hardly concourse.
You won't put the car up unless you set fire to it. So I think
That's positive.
All right, okay.
Well, I've not worn crimping. Well, I've got a crimping jumper on,
right.
But I've not worn any hairspray or too many flammables today. So hopefully I won't set myself up either.
You're wearing them.
I am.
You're wearing special gauntlets. So throw the gauntlet down. You pick it up. There you go.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
The gloves of power.
Yeah. Obviously, eye protection, which is needed. Ear defenders on. And then what we're going to do is a very essential part when you're doing a repair like this is make sure the car windscreen has got a cover on it, because grinding sparks go into the glass, eat into the glass, and then you get a lovely rusty effect on your windscreen, and you rip your wiper blades to pieces.
Yeah, no thanks.
So I mean, the windscreen has probably been sparked over the years, but we're going to try not to spark it this time. So that's your safety elf.
Right, good. Thank you very much, safety elf.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's crack on. Well, I decided the best thing I could do was to put my big girl pants on and to start getting in with that grinder, because I thought once we'd uncovered some of that rot, which we did yesterday, that it was time to just start cracking on with it. And as you can see here, this is just me using the grinder to take back the paint and to also just start uncovering some of it. Now, if you watch how I hold the grinder, I wasn't always doing it right, but the correct way to hold it is to hold it flat like you see there, because otherwise if you're holding it at an angle you can start just making dents and things that don't need to be made or something like that. Anyway, I just got told that it was best practice to hold it just like this. Now there is something else I want to mention that I've totally forgotten to mention, and I've just did a standard, but I thought it's really important if you're watching this video, and I'm giving you a bit of advice, is that you'll be able to see things like the sparks coming off here. You'll be able to see when we're welding that essentially you're playing with fire, which means it's really important to have a fire extinguisher and to know exactly where it is if things go wrong. So if you want to know where mine is, mine's on the driver's seat, and the driver's window is wound down so that I can reach it really, really quickly in the event of something going wrong. And as you can see here, we're grinding it back, and it's not amazing, but the idea is that we're giving ourselves a good, solid, honest base to work with. Now this wing has gone in a really weird place up here. I don't think they usually go up here, but in the interest of finding it all, we're really cracking on and we're just going to try and find it. Now you're not going to see us repair these holes in this top section today. We're going to be doing that in video 3, because essentially a lot of this stuff is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. But that's okay, because you don't know unless you get stuck in. Kev is just at the dentist at the moment, which means that I have been left to just crack on with this by myself. And actually, I feel so much more positive than I thought I would, because as I've cracked through it, I didn't really know what I was going to find. I knew that I was going to come through to holes. And you might look at this now and think it's got more holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese. But actually, I feel remarkably positive about it, because I think, well, yeah, this is what needs doing on this wing, and so once we've done this wing, then we'll do the next wing, and then we'll do that, and then we'll do that. So now I've gone from a point of thinking, oh God, where are we even going to start, to the point where I've looked at the wing and thought, okay, this is where we start, and we'll just have to crack on from it. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. So yeah, right, I'm going to carry on doing a bit of the old grinding. 2 bits of metal and a man without much sense, because you've decided you're going to weld this and show me how to weld. So talk us through the basics of welding. So I've never actually done it properly before, or the welding that I did was so laughable it's not worth mentioning.
Yeah, you haven't seen mine yet.
I have seen your welding before.
Well, it used to be good many years ago when my eyes worked. So basically, what MIG welding we're using, which is it means metal inert gas. So a wire comes through this trigger end, fuses that when you press that button, fuses the 2 pieces of metal together, and then this shroud here, gas comes out,
right.
And the idea is it cools the weld, which of course, as you can imagine, I think is it 1535 that metal, 1535 degrees.
I didn't do very well in science.
Neither
Don't
did
ask
I.
me.
That's why I mended a Marina. 53, I had to know better. But I mended rubbish like this 30 years ago with that welder. So anyway, basically it's that cools the metal, so it stops the distortion. What we're going to do on this is we're going to spot weld individually, then redress it with the dolly over there,
right,
and the panel beating hammer, which is also on the bench, and then we'll seam weld all the way around it, and then we will have to fill it. We'll get the shape nearly there, but for the final filling, we will have to fill it, and we'll give it a good coat of an etch primer or a red lead. Because as you can see from the weather outside, it's horrendous, and this is going out to the garage tonight because I've got another job that's coming tomorrow. So basically, that's about it. You can have a go yourself. That's fine. I'm not bothered.
I'll have, do you know what, I'll put at least one spot in and have a go. So you know when welding goes wrong and it doesn't stick, why is that? Or when people get it wrong, why do people get it wrong?
Well, it could be various reasons. It could be faulty equipment. Usually it's a bad earth on the car.
Okay.
Now, when cars first had electronic ECUs, it used to have to disconnect the battery because the welder, it's electronic and it surges. So as it surges, it can do some damage. It used to blow up alternators many years ago. So we're going to disconnect. We're going to disconnect the earth on this because I don't. This is obviously. Has it got electronic ignition on it?
Yeah.
Right. We'll disconnect it anyway. So basically, usually it's caused by a bad earth. It can be caused by a faulty welder. It can be caused by human error, which you'll be seen on this because I can't see so well without my glasses on these days. So that's about it basically. If you try and keep the area as clean as possible with the correct earth, usually you can get away with it. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to fill it anyway, so we're going to have to grind it off.
Better than the cornflakes box and the cornflakes that were sticking it together earlier.
Yes, it was. But a lot of it can be lack of penetration. So clearly, that's when it can drop to bits.
Right,
So
okay.
basically the welder, we set the welder up at number 3 on
How
this.
do you know it's to set to number 3?
Because there's a knob on the collar there. And then there's a wire feed thing there.
Right, but why not number 4? What's number 4?
4's too powerful, it will blow holes in it.
Right, okay.
So basically, 1's not enough, 2's not quite enough, but 3 I've found, because I've known this well, I've had this welder since probably before you were born.
God, it's old then.
Yeah, no, it's old. So it's been with me a long time. So usually I've done a lot of work with that. So that's it basically. So we're going to try that and see how we go on.
And thank you for answering my 20 questions.
Were they 20? I thought they were 25. But I wasn't listening. Lost interest. Right, okay, let's do something then. Right, we're just trying to get the various compound curves on this wing. So we're going to have to make this wing up in sections. It's not just going to be one piece because basically I'm not that good to make it up in one piece. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there in YouTube land and restoration that can use English wheels. I used to be able to do one, but I've forgotten how to use it now. So basically we're going to have to make it up in sections. That's the best that I can do. So we're just going to put there's a slight compound curve on there coming down. So we're using this piece of kit which is called a heel dolly. Called a heel dolly because it's like the heel of your shoe, like that. So very technical. I've had that since I was 12 years old, so it's a wonder it hasn't dropped to bits like my blooming elbow. So to make it easier on this particular occasion, we've put it in the vise like that. And then we're just going to get a slight round shape, just holding it gently. Can you see how that's going? So that's putting a slight, can you see a slight curve there? On there, a nice smooth curve. Like that. That's that. So I'm going to try and put this on this car now, and this is the point where I realise I put the curve in the wrong way. Because that's what normally happens. We've made a little piece up for here, so we're going to cut out all the rot there, clean this piece of steel up, and so we're going to have to somehow do a little bit more of a compound there and flatten that out a little bit. It's all a bit trial and error, is this.
It was then time for me to learn how to weld, so Kev showed me the basics, and it made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever, but I thought, well, I'm going to have a good go and see what happens, especially with someone so capable teaching me in the background. He kept going, no, your angle, you've got to get closer, And Honestly, this was not my finest hour, but you know what? No welder was born absolutely talented. You've got to keep having a crack at these things. So I just kept having a go, and I thought, all right. So I didn't get it quite spot on at first. In fact, even the end result isn't exactly amazing, but hopefully by the end of this car, I'll be a little bit more accomplished than I am today. So I just thought I'd crack on there. So as you can see, I'm having a good old go. Not amazing, I know. Do you want to have a look at it actually? So this is what I ended up doing. Look, I know it's not incredible, but once it ground back, it didn't actually look as horrendous as it did. And it was actually holding, so it can't have been too bad, but Kev did come in, tidy up and help. Now, I'm sure many of you out there that are far more experienced than me will know exactly what I'm doing here. But for those of you that are day oneers like me, essentially what you do once you've done your welding is you grind the welds back. And what that means is you're trying to achieve that smooth surface that you're then going to put a skim of filler on top. And also a massive thank you to my boyfriend Freddie, who not only held the camera, but also helped do a bit of grinding, a bit of welding, because he'd not really done it much before either. So yeah, it's been a real team effort today. Well, you know it's going well when even Freddie is getting in on the grinder action. And we've now popped a bit of primer over this panel, and the reason is just to protect it. It's going back outside under a cover until tomorrow, but it just keeps that bare metal a little bit safe before we start cracking on with it again tomorrow. Now, as you can see here, it's not entirely perfect. There's still a bit of TLC to be done. We've got to grind it back some more. We've got to do a bit more, but we're running out of time because, of course, I've planned my time very poorly as ever, and we're off to go and pick up a 1970s sofa set from Manchester. So you can see that overlaid just there. It's probably full of bed bugs with the way that things are at the moment, but fingers crossed it's not. But that would be today's luck. So when we come back to this tomorrow, we're going to grind it back again, smooth it back, get some filler in, and just make it look really presentable and smart. Because let's face it, that's better than having a hole in the wing or a rusty bit of tape that flexes. I know that I've talked about this already in the first video, but I'm going to talk about it again. And that's that with this car, I'm not aiming for a concourse car. I am aiming for a car that I can use, enjoy, and just take out to places, because the Morris Minor is way too good for me to take to a lot of the sketchy places that I like to go to. The Northern Soul nights that are at weird locations and stuff like that. And you think, oh, I don't really want to park my classic car outside overnight. This is a car that I'll be able to just use and enjoy, and it'll have a great MOT pass on it. It'll be solid. It'll look fine. It'll look smart enough to park up at a car show and for people to walk past and smile. I'm not looking to create the best marina in the country. There are some amazing marinas. I'm not here to have a go at competing with them. I just want a car that I can enjoy again and that isn't just looking really sad. So hopefully, this is day 2. Well, is it day 2? It's video 2, day 1 of the work. And we've made a bit of progress, and I feel so much more positive than I did last time we all spoke on the last video. I felt quite despondent last time. So that's where we've got to today. A massive, massive thank you to Kev for not only sharing his skills, but sharing his tools and, of course, his time. It's so valued and appreciated. And I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen today. As I've said before, I'm not a professional. I'm a girl who's a bit of a pen pusher actually in real life, so you know, anything you see in this video, take it that you're sharing the experience with me, and you might pick up a few bits on how to do or not do things along the way. But until next Sunday, when we meet again, take care and drive safely. Oh, and if you're working on any projects, God help you, because we all need a bit of luck.